Good evening. Welcome to the April 11th, 2024 regular meeting of the Eastchester Board of Fire Commissioners. I would like to call this meeting to order. All in favor?
Aye.
As all, please rise. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. First motion will be to adopt the adoption of the minutes. Be it resolved that the Board of Fire Commissioners approves to adopt the following meeting minutes, March 14th, 2024, regular meeting, March 27th, 2024, special meeting. I'll make a motion. Can I get a second?
Second.
I'll call the roll. Commissioner Sarasi?
Aye.
Commissioner Laurie?
Aye.
Commissioner Ranalone?
Aye.
Commissioner Keating?
Yes.
Commissioner Carlo?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Okay, Jamie.
Okay, thank you. So tonight we're looking at the financials through March 31st. They currently present a net budget surplus of approximately $560,000. In March, we paid for delivery of the tower ladder in the amount of $1.832 million. We held back $20,000 for the lights and
Tool mounting,
I
radio
couldn't think of the term.
installations.
But the majority of the payment was made. That was predominantly funded by the amount that was budgeted last year, Treasury direct interest, the FEMA grant, SAM grant, and auction proceeds that we received in 2023, and the additional funding that had been required was just over $515,000. That was appropriated from our unreserved surplus. So that payment has been made at this time. Treasury direct, as we know, we've ceased our investments at this time. We are anticipating receiving our full tax collection probably around the time of our next meeting. We usually get it right around May 10th. And then at that time, we will begin investing again. I believe the rates are still remaining strong around about 5.2%. So we will pick that up again and hopefully benefit from some interest earnings again this year like we did last year. But right now, we don't have any investments at this time. Our year-end audit is ongoing. We are waiting for financial statement drafts from our auditors. I think we should be receiving them any day now. Everything went smoothly, and hopefully I'll have something for the board to review in the next week or so. Two things for tonight. One is that back in 2021, we had gone out for RFPs for general electrical, HVAC, and plumbing services. The purpose of these was to establish long-term relationships with vendors so that when we did need services, we didn't have to go through sort of a bid process. It was a way for the chief and, we had vendors that we could use. We knew what the rates would be. It was a lot more efficient process. And each of these contracts was for a period of 3 years. So the vendor is locked into rates. I think we had a pretty good experience with the vendors that we had, and it worked out well. It cut down a lot of the administrative upfront work when we needed these services. We're at the point that they've just recently expired, these contracts, and it is something that the chief and I would like to do again. So if the board is open to renewing this and going out for RFP again, we would like to start that process. Isang would work with us as well. We would involve C&G just to refresh the RFPs, make sure there's no requirements that have changed, and then start the process of advertising that and collecting bids. So if that's something that the board is okay with, we would get that process started. And then one thing I presented to the board for this evening is we did receive from Onyx our proposal for our Google Workspace license renewal. So this is our email addresses and Google Vault, which is where we keep access to all our historical emails. We received the quote. It is for a 3-year period for 38 licenses. The cost of the license is $162 a license. The cost is $6,156 per year. And again, that is for our email addresses plus access to the Google Vault for each license. The quote that is provided does lock us in for 3 years. So if we do choose that, we are saying we're going to remain with Google for at least 3 years, or we, be on the hook to pay for it. It includes a 25% discount for taking the multi-year deal. You do have the option, if you don't want to lock in for 3 years, we could request a shorter, like a 1-year or a 2-year term, just understanding that likely there won't be a discount built in. And one thing I know we had been talking about in the office, now that we changed our website to .gov, was maybe changing our email addresses to .gov as well. That is something that we can do within the framework of this. There's no additional cost to do that, and I know that's something that Isong and the chief were going to start working on. So this does not impact our ability to do that. So the quote was provided. At this point, it would just be whether the board is comfortable having me sign the quote, and which time then they'll issue the invoice for payment. Like I said, you'd be paying at this point for 1 year, but you would be locking in for the full 3 years. We can always add licenses on, but we can't take licenses away. So if that's something the board's comfortable doing this evening, there is a motion later for consideration.
So it's roughly, what, $2,000 a year?
What's that?
It's roughly maybe $2,500 a year or so, 26 if we did 1 year at a time versus,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
And then, that's all. I was going to say, I know we have there's one additional item tonight, the motion regarding requesting the lieutenant list, because I know normally I would make the request. I just want to point out that if you authorize me to request the list, I just want to make sure the board is aware. If you're planning to schedule interviews or anything like that, as long as you're dealing with reachable candidates, you can start that process before the list arrives. So just so you understand, you just need the list for purposes, we have to have the list before you can appoint anybody. But if you want to move forward with any, kind of interviews or reviewing resumes or anything like that, you would have that ability at this time. Okay?
How long is the list good for once we get a certified list? Is it
Like
60 days?
Yep.
Okay.
Thanks, Jim. Okay, Chief?
Good evening. The monthly activity report for March 2024, total alarm activity, 330 alarms, fire-related 2, EMS and rescue, 192. We received mutual aid once from the city of New Rochelle, and we gave mutual aid once to Yonkers Fire Department for a MVA that was on the border on the Bronx River Parkway. We now have 3 probationary firefighters in the Career Fire Academy, and they're doing well. Unfortunately, 1 member turned in their resignation and is no longer with the district. Vehicle and equipment maintenance is being done in-house as much as possible by part-time mechanic Hank Henninger. The new Pierce Tower Ladder was delivered to the local dealer and is currently getting equipment mounted and radios installed. The in-service training for the members for the 4 groups on the new Tower Ladder begins on April 30th, and the new truck should go in service in early May in the North End Firehouse. Hank's mechanics report for March was emailed to the board on April 9th. Tim Dalton's weekly maintenance reports for March were emailed to the board also on April 9th. And unfortunately, the brand new HVAC system malfunctioned and leaked water into the dormitory, apparently at 3 in the morning while the guys were in the firehouse sleeping. And we're working with B&B Construction Group on repairing the damage. They're having the plumber replace the ceiling. It's a plaster ceiling now. They're going to do a layer of sheetrock over it because where the water came through, it's cracked, and there's a couple holes where the guys made relief holes in the ceiling. So that's has moved us out from sleeping at the firehouse. I've seen the guys there during the day as much as they can be, but at night the dormitory is not livable at this time. So hopefully within the next 2 weeks, maybe we could get back in there for a 24-hour response out of the Chester Heights Firehouse. It was a brand new HVAC system, and it must have been a manufacturing defect or something. It wasn't the piping going to it, it was actually the HVAC unit itself. There's a change order for Chester Heights to install saddles in the showers from B&B Construction Group for $4,221. I authorized the work to be done so that it would expedite the members moving back into the firehouse. Would the board discuss approving payment on this change order even though the work was already done? I felt it was necessary because if the members had a fire and they needed to take a shower, the way it was before, it was the water was not staying in the shower area, so we've addressed it, and the showers are working properly now, but we did have to have the additional tile work done, so I asked the board to approve that change order. Fire prevention and code enforcement activities continue with numerous plan reviews and inspections, and the fire prevention reports were mailed to the board on April 9th. Currently, we have 2 members out on long-term absence, and 1 member is still assigned to light duty and is working with ESONG on digitizing the fire prevention records. There are currently 5 high school seniors that have signed up to be interns for the WISE program. 3 are starting on May 6th, and 2 are starting on May 13th. 3 are from Eastchester High School, 1 is from Tuckahoe High School, and 1 is from Bronxville High School. So as I explained to the board, I think last month, or when we discussed the WISE program, last year the candidates weren't as enthusiastic and they were distracted at times. So we're going to make sure that these candidates, if they're not participating as we feel, we're just going to send them back to their schools and contact their guidance counselors. So we're going to make sure that they're not just going there to kill time while they're not needing to go to school. So we'll have better supervision on them, and if there's any issues, we'll just contact their guidance counselors and say it's not working out. I asked the board for authorization to purchase a second Genesis-powered stair chair on the EFD credit card for $3,459.97. We received the first one last month and has been well received by the membership on lift assist and EMS calls. I believe purchasing a second chair to keep in the North End Firehouse will help prevent a potential line-of-duty injury to the members. I have attached a quote from Genesis for $3,459.99, and we had the second quote from a month ago from Stryker. Their stair chair is about 4 or 5 times the cost of $16,162. So the 3001, we wanted to make sure it was good quality. The members seem happy with it. It can handle a patient up to 400 pounds. And we have had a few, we'll say, larger patients where it has come in handy, and the members have said it has made a difference. It doesn't just go upstairs, it can also help control the chair going down the stairs. So I asked the board for approval to use the credit card for that amount. Also, would the board please discuss the repair of the traffic light on Main Street? The current repair estimate is $11,450. I had given Commissioner Carlo some agreements that kind of explain the ownership and maintenance requirements and repairs of the traffic lights, so he can have more on that. He's familiar with the situation. I will be attending the PERMA Workers' Compensation Conference in May. I asked the board to authorize one-night hotel stay at the conference at the PERMA rate of $269. I can put that on the fire department credit card, and that's the conference starts at 8 a.m., and PERMA pays for the second night, but they won't pay for the night before the conference. So I don't have to leave at 4 in the morning to get up there for 8 a.m. I asked for permission. I've gone up there probably 4 or 5 times, so I asked for authorization to spend the $269 on a one-night hotel at the PERMA conference. I would like to offer my congratulations to firefighter Sean McGee, badge number 175, on his retirement that was effective March 31st, 2024. Sean began his career with the Eastchester Fire District on February 22nd, 2003, and served the district and the residents for over 21 years. I wish him a long and healthy retirement, and Sean's a good guy. He was involved in the Emerald Society. He played drums in the pipe band, and I just want to wish him well and a long retirement. On a sad note, local veteran Michael Fix passed away on March 24th, 2024. He was our contact. Esong and I dealt with him quite a bit during the district elections at the American Legion Leroy Gregory Post 979, where we hold the North End Fire District polling place elections each year. He was a true gentleman. I offer condolences to his family and friends, and I ask the board to end the meeting with a moment of silence in his memory. And that's the end of my report.
Thanks, Chief. Isang.
Commissioners, for community outreach, our social media platforms, there were 9 posts for March. Just wanted to point out, recently when extreme weather events happen, this has been happening where people are calling the business office. So on these social media posts, we are reminding the public that if they're experiencing an emergency, to call 911. If they lose power, we recommend they contact Con Ed. To report flooding to the local fire department emergency number 914-793-6400, and to report wires or trees down to the local police. I believe the chief mentioned DPW also has a hand in that sometimes. And then, of course, to monitor later forecasts and be alert for possible flood warnings. So just something that we're constantly reinforcing online, should the public have any questions about that.
The DPW gets dispatched through the police department, so if they had a tree down blocking a roadway, the public should contact the police department and they can dispatch a DPW crew. As far as people calling the business number for flooded basements, when we get storms like that, every fire truck is out of the firehouse, so there's nobody there to check the voicemail. So we recommend that you call the 914-793-6400, because the dispatchers will put you in the queue if there's a waiting list for pumping out basements. That's the way to get your address on the thing, not leaving a voicemail at the captain's office. He may not be back in quarters for 8 hours. So we recommend, as Isang said, on social media, that people would contact that number for flooded basements or non-emergencies, less emergencies.
Yes, and then continued work for website updates, and as Jamie mentioned, we're also reviewing for changing the emails over to .gov. I'll go over the options with the chief because that's a Google admin situation. We're also still exploring social media, records retention options, and then as a reminder, there's Viola. They're doing the flushing of the fire hydrants, so we're just notifying the public that that's going to be happening for this month, should they have concerns about the watercolor or loss of water pressure, I believe. For foils, we received 0 foils in March. For records management, for this year, the Records Day Shredding Day will take place Wednesday, May 22nd at Station 3. And then the board had authorized me to attend the AFD-SNY Summit in White Plains on April 26th and the 27th. So I'll just be taking the records workshops and the fire district secretary training then. Continued work on 2023 records for transportation to Station 3 and that regular office tasks as needed. So, thank you.
Thanks, Tom. Okay, on to a few things here. All right, business office recommendations, payment of bills, subject 7.1, April 11th. Be it resolved that the Board of Fire Commissioners approves to pay the bills and vouchers as presented. The board has been supplied with 1 set of bills and 1 credit card bill. Chief Tween has reviewed all prior to the meeting, except certiorari claims, and those specifically marked as reviewed by the treasurer. Treasurer has requested the board approve the following. Warrant number 1 dated 4/11/24 for $463,786.81. The credit card bill dated 4/18/24 for $3,899.13 for a total of $467,685.94. So I'll make that motion. Can I get a second?
I'll second it.
I'll call the roll. Commissioner Sarasi?
Aye.
Commissioner Laurie?
Aye.
Commissioner Ranalone?
Aye.
Commissioner Keating?
Yes.
Commissioner Carlo?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay, so that brings us to Station 4 cleaning services. So I believe last meeting, Commissioners Ranalone and Lori wanted to get a quote on what it would cost to clean up the back room on the 2nd floor of Chester Heights. So the chief mentioned that this is a quote that's not prevailing wage. So if the board wants to pay for this, we need to get another quote. If the, lack of a better word, volunteers, benevolent, wants to pay for it,
Yeah.
they can have at it. So we want to discuss this.
Yeah, as far as the board paying for it right now, I would suggest that it not get done now because we can't use the 2nd floor anyway, and just the guys from going up and down the stairs in the front part of the meeting room area of the upstairs, there's footprints all over the place. So if we clean the back room. Guys walking around in that room are just going to get footprints all over that floor as well. It doesn't come from necessarily the apparatus floor or whatever dust is on the second floor, but if the guys go down the basement, it just tracks up throughout the whole firehouse. So even the second floor, which was cleaned, it has footprints all over the meeting room floor. So unless the volunteers, unless the benevolent wants to pay for the cleaning of it, or if not that, then at least getting rid of any excess furniture or things that are up there that they don't want, they can do that. That's my recommendation.
No, I tend to agree with you, and also, doesn't make sense to spend any money up there right now, because who knows when anyone will be up on that second floor.
Well, wait a minute, I want to say something on that.
Sure, okay.
The volunteers could get rid of anything that's trashable in that room, but that room does belong to the firehouse, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's ours.
Okay, so why, if we clean in the meeting room, why can't that room, the kitchen, and the bathrooms get cleaned up too? Why should the volunteers pay for that? That's all part of the same firehouse we're talking, ain't we?
Yeah, and quite frankly, looking back now, I'm not even sure why we bother cleaning up the second floor at all, but.
Okay, so then when you do clean it up, then we clean
No,
that
we can,
room?
yeah, when we ever get back upstairs again.
Okay, that's what I'm saying, when we get back,
We can
when,
discuss it again, and we can talk about,
okay, when you get back up there to clean that, I think that whole place should be cleaned. You know, those bathrooms need cleaning. You can't blame the volunteers, the paid personnel, or the local community. You know, that room was told to be left open. Now, there was jackhammers in that firehouse to take that floor out. There was machinery that went in there. That dust just didn't stay in the bottom floor. That dust went through the whole building. So I don't think we should make the local social clubs that use that room pay for that, or we shouldn't pay for that back room to be cleaned. It's all one firehouse, and it's all the same dust from downstairs that traveled upstairs.
no, I understand, but you mentioned, I think in the last meeting, that possibly going back up there and using in those quarters, and we said.
Yeah, but the chief said we couldn't use it, and we obeyed that rule.
Right,
But-
so that being said, I don't know, I'm not saying that you should pay for it at that point either, so we.
Yeah, so-
I'm just suggesting, as Mr. Rallon said, we just shouldn't do anything with it until we're ready.
Okay, so then, but what I'm saying is when we do get ready to use that place up there, it should be cleaned, and the fire department take responsibility of the paying for the cleaning of that upstairs.
But I also believe that whatever excess furniture or
Yeah,
whatever
I said
they
that,
don't
that
want,
excess trashy furniture, we'll get rid of that. That's not a problem. We're not asking anybody to do that, but I'm just saying, that dust that came from downstairs went upstairs, and that disrupted the whole building. It didn't just disrupt the downstairs or the meeting room, and then the back room didn't get disrupted, because you can't say that, Commissioner Ranalone.
No, I'm not saying that. It's just, and like I said, just from the firefighters themselves walking from, from the apparatus floor down to the basement, up
Yeah.
to the second floor, whatever, there's footprints all over the.
Yeah, I agree
second
with you.
flo- Second
Not
floor.
a problem.
So there's no sense in cleaning.
No, I agree with you. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. So when it comes time to do the whole general place,
We'll revisit.
we'll work with that, Anya.
But in the meantime, it would be great if whatever
Trash has
excess
to be,
stuff.
we'll get it out. Okay, that's not a problem.
Great, thanks. On to the next one, Lieutenant Promotional Hiring List. There's a resolution to be it resolved that the Board of Fire Commissioners authorizes Jamie Hedstrom to request the lieutenant hiring list from civil service. Can I get a second?
I second.
I'll call the roll. Commissioner Sorese?
Aye.
Commissioner Laurie?
All right.
Commissioner Ranalone?
Aye.
Commissioner Keating?
Yes.
Commissioner Carlo?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Next is for a reimbursement for educational allowance. Be it resolved that the Board of Fire Commissioners approves to reimburse Paul Kendall for the Fire Company Officer 1 class completed in March of 2024 for a total amount of $550. This course was taken at an accredited institution as per the CBA. Can I get a second?
Second.
I'll call the roll. Commissioner Sorese?
Aye.
Commissioner Laurie?
Aye.
Commissioner Ranalone?
Aye.
Commissioner Keating?
Yes.
Commissioner Carlo?
Aye.
Motion carried.
CPAD. Be it resolved, the Board of Fire Commissioners authorizes Treasurer Jamie Hedstrom to request the resident certification list from the Westchester County Department of Human Resources to send invited candidates to the June 22nd, 2024 CPAT with Westchester County, and be it further resolved that the Eastchester Board of Fire Commissioners authorizes Secretary Marissa E. Smith to canvass the nominating certification list for candidates with a score of 95 or above in order to send invited candidates to the June 22, 2024 CPAT, and authorizes Chief Tween to proceed with a blind resume process and make recommendations to the board for candidates to send to CPAT. Can I get a second on that one?
Second.
I'll call the roll. Commissioner Sarasi?
How many are we going to send up there, Chief?
We can send 5 per position. So Jamie was thinking that it could be 3 to 5 positions, depending on if they let people who have said they're retiring, if they allow us to use those as open positions. So it could be up to 25, but it could be as few as 15.
Well, how many can we send up there?
That's what I'm saying, between 25 and
We can send
15 and
25
25. It's 5 per open position, and we currently have 3 open.
How many can we send to this CPAC? 25?
Maybe as many as 25,
Okay.
maybe as few as 15.
Okay.
So we have to get an answer from civil service on how many open positions we have.
No problem. Aye.
Commissioner Lori?
Aye.
Commissioner Ranalone?
Aye.
Commissioner Keating?
Yes.
Commissioner Carlo?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay, this is for the stair chair. Be it resolved that the Eastchester Board of Fire Commissioners authorizes Chief Brian Tween to make the purchase for the Climbing Steps Genesis Mobile Stair Lift, battery-powered portable stair lift for $3,459.97 on the EFT credit card. Can I get a second?
Second.
I'll call the roll. Commissioner Sarasi?
Aye.
Commissioner Lori?
On the motion, I do want to say, I saw that chair, number one, I saw it on my block working twice. And if anybody hasn't seen it work, you should take a look at it. It is beautiful because no one's going to hurt their back on that. Well, I shouldn't say that. I say, let's hope no one hurts their back on it. And from what the men were doing before, with the mobile chair that they were carrying, I thought that was very dangerous. But this thing works beautiful, and I vote aye on it.
Commissioner Ranalone?
Aye.
Commissioner Keating?
Yes.
Commissioner Carlo?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay, this is for the work at the Chester Heights bathrooms, for the saddle work that the chief has had installed. Be it resolved that the Eastchester Board of Fire Commissioners authorizes Chief Brian Tween to sign change order number 20 for installing shower saddles at the Chester Heights Firehouse. Can I get a second?
Second.
I'll call the roll. Commissioner Sarasi?
Aye.
Commissioner Lori?
Aye.
Commissioner Ranalone?
Aye.
Commissioner Keating?
Yes.
Commissioner Carlo?
Aye.
Motion carried.
And that's one is on the Onyx Workspace Business Plus licenses. Be it resolved that the Eastchester Board of Fire, I mean, I'm assuming that we're all good with a 3-year term, unless you want to do 1 year.
2 years is fine.
Okay. Be it resolved that the Eastchester Board of Fire Commissioners authorizes Treasurer Jamie Hedstrom to allow the treasurer to sign the proposal to renew the Eastchester Fire District's Google Workspace Business Plus licenses through Onyx Networking Corporation. Per the proposal, the district will renew its 38 licenses for a term of 3 years and a total cost of $6,156 per year. I'm sorry, that was, I thought it was, I misread that. Is that, I thought it was 6,000 for 3 years.
No, this is the cost per year.
Okay, gotcha, sorry, okay. That's why I said 20, is it 1 year, 2,500? I said, okay.
Yeah, I thought you meant that's the.
No, no.
I realized what you said.
All right,
Jamie, do all 38 have access to the vault?
Yes, already have access to the vault. That's why we have to keep, like, we only have 27 that are active, but we have to keep inactive, like for former commissioners and former captains, because we need access to their vaults for potential FOIL requests. Yeah.
thank you, Jamie.
Thanks.
I'll make that a motion and second a second.
Second.
I'll call the roll. Commissioner Sarasi?
Aye.
Commissioner Lori?
Aye.
Commissioner Ranalone?
Aye.
Commissioner Keating?
Yes.
Commissioner Carlo?
Aye.
Motion carried.
As far as the lighthouse side, Chief, I'm going to speak to just a few people in town. I
Okay.
want to get a few things confirmed and straightened out first,
Okay.
to verify a couple of things, and then we can either have another meeting, a special meeting just to address that, so we can get underway with it, or just see what the next steps are. But just, so that's got a few questions
Okay.
for a couple of people in town, so
Okay,
I'll let you know.
that's fine.
Okay.
And I don't know if you had a resolution, but just authorize me for the one-night hotel stay at the Perma Workers' Compensation Seminar. $269,
Yeah, I don't have an actual motion, but I'm saying, okay, so.
I'll make the motion.
The board approves that we.
authorize me
gift
to
credit
put on the
card
department credit card.
For one night stay, 269 up in, where's it, at
It's at the
Burma?
Sagamore in
at
Lake
Sagamore,
George,
yeah,
yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
All right, great.
Second.
I'll call the roll. Commissioner Sorasi? Commissioner Lori?
Aye.
Commissioner Ranalone?
Aye.
Commissioner Keating?
Yes.
Commissioner Carlo?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Nice up there.
It's a little chilly that time of year.
Well, yeah. Our next meeting will be May 9th at Town Hall here. That moves us over to comments to the local 916. Lieutenant?
Hello, Board. Joe Costanzo, President, Local 916. I'll be brief. I just want to thank you guys for being proactive for the upcoming open lieutenant spot. Thank you for requesting the list. I hope you guys, do interviews soon, and good luck to the candidates that should be up for the promotion. Thank you also for the new stair chair that you guys just approved. The one that we're currently using has, as Commissioner Lori said, saved a bunch of guys back so far, and hopefully it saves a bunch more going forward. So thank you for that. And then I want to just echo Chief Tween's remarks earlier. Congratulations to Sean McGee on his 21-plus career. Thank you for his contributions to the union and to the district. So thank you, guys.
Thank you, Lieutenant.
Thank you. Thank you, Joe.
Comments from the public? Mike?
Mike Parisi, 16 Lockwood Avenue, Chester Heights. Just food for thought. Commissioner Ranalone mentioned something, and Commissioner Laurie mentioned something about that dust. Even though you're going to clean the second floor, after when it's all completed, why don't you seal the basement floor? There's a sealer that you could put over and seal the dust right there. Because the more you don't seal it, the more that dust is still going to penetrate throughout the building. And then you don't want it affecting the firefighters in the wintertime when the heat comes on and the dust is blowing around or a door is open. Just seal the floor and you'll get rid of that problem in the basement area, the floor and the steps. I'm only looking at it from an outsider, not from a point of view being there, but I have seen it downstairs. There is a lot of dust down there.
Well, let me just say, we would have had it cleaned by the professional cleaning services, but we still have water issues. So we anticipate maybe having to do a French drain along the perimeter, and that's gonna be cutting through the concrete with diamond saws and jackhammers and stuff. So why clean it and then have to have it cleaned again? Like, we wanna get that done as soon as possible.
You just answered your own question, Chief. When it gets completed.
Yeah, when it gets completed,
Then
we'll have
nobody's
it done.
mentioned that.
We'll have it cleaned, with
Didn't seal it.
HEPA vacuums and stuff, right, but we're not doing it just yet because, as I said, we've discovered we still have, cracks, little cracks in the foundation are letting water in. So, I anticipate, having to do additional work in the basement.
Or maybe for temporary, put a couple of big heavy mats there, so when they do go downstairs and upstairs, they can wipe their feet on the mat and not track it through the apparatus floor or the second floor or into the dormitory or the kitchen area for the firefighters.
We have a doormat at the top of the stairs, but it's small, it's a normal,
kinda
like,
big.
doormat. Yeah,
That's-
maybe we have to get a larger rug or
I think you
something.
would need an industrial mat like they use in kitchens or aboard ships.
Well, they actually have, like, for construction sites, tacky
Right.
mats, so it actually, like, grabs the dust off your feet. We'll have to look into maybe getting something like that. So,
You answered your
but
own
we-
question again.
But we will address the
Yeah.
basement, but again,
Yeah.
like I said, I hope to, as soon as possible, have that other work, but we're gonna have to go out to bid, and, because I'm sure it's gonna be over our threshold for,
Well, it's going to be that way. It's like when you open a wall, you don't know what you're going to expect on the inside. But I think for the time being, maybe you should get a couple of big mats so you don't track that into the apparatus floor when the membership goes back there or into their dormitory or their kitchen area.
well, it's mostly the workers going downstairs, because they were still doing work,
Right.
even though they moved back in until the HVAC unit
Yeah, yeah.
exploded.
Yeah.
the workers were still doing punch list items, so they were the ones going in. I don't think the members go into the
I
basement
don't
too
think so
often,
either. I don't-
unless a circuit breaker pops or there's
Yeah,
a water leak or
but-
something.
But those
So-
guys working there, they're still tracking
So,
that
yeah,
dust
yeah.
throughout the
So we,
location.
like I said, we're looking to
Right.
getting those industrial mats.
Right, and the good thing was that none of the members got injured when that AC unit,
Fortunately, nobody got hurt.
so that's the main thing.
It did, they probably got a little bit wet, but,
Okay,
you know.
and what I say is just
They addressed the
constructive,
issue.
and what I mentioned is just constructive criticism, okay?
I appreciate
The
it.
house looks good, and,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Mike. Okay. Any commissioner comments? I'm sorry, any more public comments? No?
And just one thing, like he mentioned, the upstairs was cleaned. It's just like surface footprints. It's not like major
I know.
dust up
I
on
know- I know what
the
you're
second floor meeting room, right? So that was already cleaned by the
I know.
company that we
I know
hired.
it was.
So it was the back room where the pool table is and that bathroom and the area behind
And that
the old
kitchen area,
bar.
too.
I thought the kitchen was done
I
as
don't-
part of it. Well, we'll take a look.
Yeah.
So, but again, it's, you know, that's.
They're using the refrige up there anyway, the last time I was there.
I don't think so. Timmy got them a few new appliances, so
Okay.
they had a fridge that wasn't working, and Timmy got them a new fridge, new microwave, and a new stove, so I think they're back on their own
Good.
refrigerator.
All right, good.
Okay, commissioner comments?
Just one thing, person I was able to work with last year on the 9/11 trailer that came up to Lake Isle last year in September, Mike Fix. I just became a member of the Rotary Club a few months ago, but last year I had the opportunity to meet him for the first time, and we worked together on the trailer at Lake Isle, and he was very, he wanted the information on Vinnie Spadaro and Phil Pinto, and I was able to get him the information on Vinnie, and the chief got him the information about Phil Pinto, and who are just two of the people who passed away recently from 9/11 disease. So they were honored at the Kensico Dam prior to the anniversary, and they were also honored when the trailer was at Lake Isle that day over there. So I had the opportunity to work with him then. He was a veteran. He gave of himself to numerous things. He was one of the major fundraisers for the Eastchester Rotary Club, and he's going to be sorely missed by them. He was a longtime member, and it was a shame that he had to pass away. And I think we should have a moment of silence for him at the end of the meeting.
No, yeah, and just to say, I mean, I've known Mike several years, and he was on the board of the Historical Society. He was past president. He really gave of himself to this entire town, a staunch supporter of veterans. He refurbished the Leroy Gregory Hall, and there wasn't anything he wouldn't do for you. So, yeah, he was, I think he was a force in this town, and I think his dedication to, I think, not just the Boy Scouts, but the Rotary, the society, veterans, just incredible. And I don't know, I'll miss him. I think he was a good guy, one of the good guys. So unfortunately, gone too soon, as they say. But we'll end that with a moment of silence for Mike.
Yeah, the motto of the Rotary Club is service above self, and he definitely gave of himself for the service of his community, and he will be sorely missed.
All right, so on that note, it's like 7:42, is it? I can't say. But we're going to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
I'll have a quick moment of silence for Mike. Okay, guys, thank you.